guys, and welcome to my quest guide for the 2005 Members Quest Mournings End Part 1. So to start this quest you will need to have completed Big Chompy Bird Hunting, Sheep Herder and Roving Elves. You will need to have at least 60 range and 50 thieving. The items required are all listed here. You will need 2 pieces of silk, a bucket of water, a feather, some soft leather, 2 toad crunchies, a magic log, a barrel of naphtha. If you don't already have that, then I suggest going back and watching the quest guide for Regicide and to see how to get that. The other items are obtainable during the quest, so you don't need to get them straight away, but you will need a piece of bear fur, blue, red, yellow and green dyes, suggested to have multiple of those, a rotten apple, an empty barrel and some ogre bellows. And the only enemy to defeat is a mourner between level 79 and 86. So bring food and armour as well. So to start this quest, you need to go to Isafdar and speak to Elend. If he's not here, you can either hot worlds or just stand and wait until they come up and click number 1, talk about Mournings End. Go through the chat and accept the quest. So you'll be teleported into Letia, given a crystal teleport seed, go through the chat and then speak to Arianwin. So when you've gone through the chat with him, teleport to the Eagle's Peak Lodestone. You need to make your way to Arendar. When you get to the lodestone, run south. There is other ways to get here. If you've got a closer teleport, you can use that. Keep running south until you see some gates just slightly to the east. There they are. Then run down to this little area here. Go through the gates and find a mourner and then kill him. They shouldn't be too far from the gates and they are quite easy to kill. When you've killed him, pick up the mourner gear and the letter that they drop and read the letter. You will need a spare set to fix for within the light quest, so if you want to go get them now you can if you've got the inventory space, or you can always come back later and get them. Next you need to go to Tavali. So either kill another mourner or teleport straight there. When you get to Tavali, run south to the lake. And you need to speak to Tejid. So cross the bridge and it's just directly east. Go through the chat. When you've gone through the chat, search the laundry basket that's just next to him to get a bar of soap. Push option 1, steal the soap. Make sure you have a bucket of water in your inventory and use the soap on the bloody mourner's top. If you only have an empty bucket, you can fill it up with the water barrel that's right here. Then use the soap on the bloody mourner's top. That will clean away the blood so you can wear it. Then you need to use your teleport crystal to go back to Letia. Then go to the clothing shop, which is just in the northwest, and speak to Orenwin. Choose option 3, do you mend clothes? And you'll hand over the pants, and you'll need silk and bear fur here. If you haven't got it, there's some bears just south of Letia where you started the quest if you didn't get it earlier. Then speak to her again and choose option 3, I have all I need to mend my trousers, and then you'll hand them over. So you'll need to wait 1 minute, so just stand around and once 1 minute's up, then you can get your pants back from her. While you're here, you can buy the dye directly from her shop. I suggest having a couple of each just in case. Then you don't need to teleport back. So you don't need the orange and purple, just the red, yellow, blue and green. If you speak to her and ask about the trousers and it's too soon, she'll just tell you that she'll be done soon. When you do get them back, if you did get a second set ready for within the light, you can get some more silk and bear fur and get them fixed while you're here as well. Or you can just bank them and come back and do that later. So when she's ready, you'll talk to her, she'll give you the trousers back. If you do the second pair, make sure you wait for them to be repaired. If you give them to her now and leave them with her, you won't be able to get into the Mourners HQ later. So make sure you don't give them to her and then leave. So the next thing you need to do is make sure you have the Mourner's gear, the Mourner's letter, a feather, some toad crunchies, leather and a magic log. So now you need to head to Ardoin. Make sure you have only the Mourner's outfit equipped, don't have anything else equipped. You can bank stuff before you leave if you need to. Teleport to Ardoin, and now we are going to head into West Ardoin. So if you go to the lodestone, run south and go over the log balance, or you can run further south if you haven't got the agility level, and go over the bridge. There's another bank here if you need to make more space and you didn't already. Head all the way west to the entrance to West Ardoin. Go through the gates, and then you need to head to the Mourners HQ, which is the building in the northeastern corner. If you have anything equipped except just the Mourner's outfit, you won't be able to go in. So go through the door. If it doesn't let you go in, like with me, then you need to unequip your Mourner's outfit and equip it again. I just ran to the bank and got rid of some stuff out of my inventory and then did it. Once you get in, go into the northwestern room and down the little trapdoor that's behind the staircase. Run to the south. Go into the room with the head mourner and speak to him. Go through the chat, then hand over the letter, and then choose option 2, yes, and option 2, yes again, and then option 1, yes again. When you've gone through his chat, you'll get a key. Go into the room to the west and speak to the gnome who is on the rack. And go through all his chat, and when you get options, choose option 3. Then use the feather on him. You'll need to do this twice and make sure you've got toad crunchies in your inventory. When you've done that, talk to him again. Make sure you've got the leather and the magic log in your inventory. Then when you've done that, right click on him and release. He'll just be stood next to the rack. So you now need to wait 1 minute again. And then when he's done, you can talk to him and you will get a fixed device. If he does disappear, just go to the lobby and log back in again. He should be stood here. So just wait for 1 minute. It is possible that it's a little bit quicker like it was with me. So talk to him and he'll get the empty fixed device. So for the next section, you'll need Ogre Bellows, the fixed device, your Mourner gear and the dyes you picked up before. So go and bank and pick up any stuff that you haven't already got with you. The Ogre Bellows you can pick up doing the quest, so if you've not already got them, don't worry about it. So then you need to travel to the Feldip Hills. Run to the northeast, up to Rance's Cave. Just go in the cave and pick up the Ogre Bellows if you don't already have them. They are inside the chest over here. Just click unlock and you'll get them. Then head back out and you will need to find some swamp toads. So just to the southwest of the cave here. And pick up some swamp toads. Use your Ogre Bellows with a bottle of dye, any colour, and then use that on a swamp toad and you will get that colour toad. Do this with all your dye. It is possible you will need more, so if you did bring 2 like me, you might need more. If you are unlucky, that is. Once you've used up all the dyes that you've got and you've got the different coloured swamp toads, then you'll need to teleport to the Ardoin lodestone. So for this next section, you will need to find the diseased sheep, the different coloured ones around this area that we used in the sheep herder quest. I will put a map on the screen of their locations to make it easier. But when you get to this point, you need to use the swamp toads on the correct coloured sheep. So go over to one of the sections and then you need to use a toad matching their colour on the fixed device that you got. When it's equipped, you need to right click on the device and fire. It should be equipped in your hand. So right click and fire and you will get this little option here. So you need to move the arrows to find the sheep. Just keep scrolling around till you find one of them and get them in the target site. It can be a bit awkward if they move, which is why I said bring some extra ones. It can be a little bit of trial and error. And then when you get them in the target site, you just need to press the little red button. If you click anywhere else on this, it will walk out. If you fire them, the sheep should change colour, and then you need to move on to the next one. So when you've done one, just move on to the next one. So the southernmost one, you need to use the red swamp toad. Then just north of the wheat field, you need to use the green. Just outside the fishing guild is the yellow, and then to the west, past the bridge area, is the blue. And it's just the same thing. Now, the reason I said bring extra, because if you click fire and the sheep moves, then that means you will use up the swamp toad, need to get another one. Hopefully 2 is enough. If you brought more, even better. And then any you've got left over at the end, you can just either bank or get rid of. Just destroy them. Then when all this is done, we can return to West Ardoin and speak to the head mourner again. So when all the sheep are done, then head south over the bridge and then back into West Ardoin. Go through the gate and then head to the northeastern corner and into the Mourners HQ again. Go back into the small room and down the trapdoor. Go south and into the room with the head mourner in and speak to him. Go through his chat. So go back up the ladder and head outside. And just outside the little house to the northwest, there is a rotten apple on the floor. You can see the red dot on the minimap. Pick that up and then go back to the gate and head back into East Ardoin. So when you get over there, you need to speak to Elena. Now she is just northeast of the castle. So if you head up here, she is right next to the log balance. Just in the little house up here. So go in there and speak to her. Go through the chat. Once you've gone through it all, speak to her again with the rotten apple in your inventory. It is quite a long chat, so just hold the space bar if you're not bothered about reading it. Talk to her again. And then, like we did before, we have to wait 1 minute before we speak to her again. So while you're waiting for the minute, you can go over the log balance to the bank and get your barrel of naphtha out of the bank. If you don't have it, I will put a link in the description below to the Regicide quest with a timestamp of how I show how to make it. So you can always just pause the video and go do that if you don't already have it made from Regicide. Then once the 1 minute is up, then we can speak to her again. So go through the chat again after a minute. Just hold the space bar and spam through it if you don't want to read it. When you're done, go out and head to the northwest. Now we need to head up to the Tree Gnome Stronghold, to this little apple orchard just outside the gates. So go through the gates into here and pick up an empty barrel. Use the empty barrel on the pile of rotten apples to fill it up, and then use the barrel of rotten apples on the apple barrel machine, this thing. So now you need your barrel of naphtha and you need to use it on the apple barrel you've just made. If you didn't pick it up before, then just go to the nearest bank and get it out. So use the barrel of naphtha on your apple barrel. Keep the empty barrel in your inventory. Then when you've done that, use the sieve on the mixture. Then you will need to use the toxic naphtha on a cooking range. So you can head back into the Mourners HQ because there is one in there that you can use. Or if there's another one on the way, you can use that. The only thing to remember is make sure you use it on a range and not on an open fire. Don't light a fire, otherwise it will explode. But we are headed back into West Ardoyne, so fastest way is just to use the one in the Mourners HQ. And we are almost complete now. just north into the Mourners HQ, use the toxic naphtha on the range. You will get 2 toxic powder. Now you need to go into the largest building in the center, which is the one just southwest of here. So go out and head to the town center and go into the big building. Into the room to the west here, and there's some sacks on the floor. You need to use toxic powder in them. So you don't need to do 1 in each, like I thought you did. Just use 1 and that will poison all of them. And when you've done this, you need to head out and go to the church to the south. Directly to the south, and go in and go up the stairs. And there is some sacks of grain here as well. Use the other toxic powder on them. Then head back down and go back to the Mourner HQ. Down through the trapdoor again. South and speak to the head mourner. And then when you've gone through his chat, that will be quest complete. So there we have Mournings End Part 1 complete, and you are ready for Mournings End Part 2. So for completing this quest, you will get 2 quest points, a 25,000 Constitution XP lamp, 25,000 Thieving XP lamp, access to the Death Card headquarters, and access to Ledia. You'll get a crystal teleport seed, which is the one we got earlier, you can keep. You get to keep the full Mourner gear, and you get 2 treasure hunter keys as well.